Hello everybody and good morning. Good happy Friday. It is a nice rainy day outside. Today I have a sidekick. It's not Adam, it is Dan. He is going to help us today with our Facebook Live. We are the owners here at Central Art Supply, and not only do we offer great art materials for our artists, but we also are full service here. We also offer framing. And today we're going to do some do-it-yourself framing because yes, we have this beautiful framing department with all these frames you can choose and have custom work done. But we also know there's just sometimes you want to pop some frames, some pictures into frames and get some work done. So we're going to show you kind of how we do that today. Dan, you want to know a story? This is a little love story. So we were dating when Dan moved down here and bought a frame shop that was in Central Art. It was a separate business inside Central Art. And actually, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to offer a $20 Central Art gift certificate to the person who can guess what the name of our business was when we started. So our start as our married couple was as framers. And so I moved down after we got married. I was from Eugene, moved down here, and we had a frame shop. And soon the frame shop went from the basement up to where the classroom is now. So we spent the good majority of our first 3-4 years of marriage with a frame shop. So this was what we started with. So when we brought in framing, it was just an easy fit for us because we know how to do it, and it was easy to work with our framers, although I think our framers are pretty good at it. They're very good. I think that they far surpassed what I know I'm able to do. So we're going to show you here some of the tools that we use for framing, and then Dan's going to be our framer today. I'm going to be a sidekick. That seems to be my role in a lot of things, is being the sidekick. So let's get this going, and we're going to talk about some of the tools here. So Dan, take this away.
Okay, there's a lot of different tools that you can use. You don't need all this stuff, but I'm going to show you kind of what we use as framers. Some of the most important stuff is that you have some tapes and, well, we'll just go through it. One of the things that you need is something to tape your picture to the mat board. If you have any tapes, and this is a framer's tape, and it's a little bit different. Whenever you're taping your pictures to to the mat board, some people will try to use Scotch tape or masking tape, or
my favorite is painter's tape, which is not permanent.
Yeah, painter's tape, which is not good, doesn't work at all because it comes loose really quick, or drafting tape comes loose really quick. And so framer's tape is an acid-free tape, and it will come off. If you need to take the pictures out or do anything with them, it will come off relatively easy without ripping it apart. So that's a good thing to have. Another thing is to have a good cleaner for your glass. And we're going to be using some museum glass, which is anti-reflective glass. And so the only thing you need to know with that is you want to make sure it's a cleaner that doesn't have any ammonia. And so if you have any special glass, no ammonia in your cleaner. So a glass cleaner. There's tape. This is a sealing tape. This is what we use when we seal up the back. If you've ever seen a picture that has like little bugs in it, a dead bug in the corner of the mat or something, that's because it wasn't sealed correctly. Then we have this wire. This is our wire we're going to use to put a hanger on the back. You need a screwdriver, and I use a little power screwdriver, but just a regular screwdriver will work. And then you're going to need some hanging equipment. And today we're going to use these guys, which is just little loops. But you can also use screw eyes, if you can see those, and different clips, offset clips for canvas. If you have a canvas, these are extremely quick to put in on a regular canvas. Or you can use these little offset clips. So
we'll talk more about all of these products as we are using them, so you don't need to be writing anything down right now or have a panic that we're going too fast. We're going to talk about all of this as we get going here. We just wanted to show you a quick look at our tools before we get started on putting some things together.
Now when you put the when you have the picture in the frame like this, I don't have the glass on it, and then to keep it inside here,
don't tape it.
Don't
tape it in.
There's points.
And don't use nails.
We use something that's called a point gun. It does that. And it puts it in there. It's going to hold it. But, I mean, that costs $120 or something like that, and you don't need to buy one of those, because there's also something that's called a push point, and we'll show you how those work. And these things cost $2.35, so it's a lot better. But you can use those, they work real well.
Really, side note, if you do a lot of framing, this is fantastic. If you do some framing, we do have a Logan point gun that's less than this one. This is our industrial one that you can get, and I don't know how much that is. Then you can, or you can get just the glazier points. But please do not use nails. Please do not use tape to get them in. Just get some good equipment to hold these together, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay.
And you could use nails. That's what they used to use a long, long time ago, is little brad nails, and they'd tap them in there and hold it in just like that. But that's kind of a pain to do.
Is a pain.
Another thing that's good is double stick tape. And you'll see when we go to put the backing on. This is a gun, the double stick tape gun is what we use. This one's taped together, so we used it a lot. But these things are, if you're doing a lot, they are well worth it. They're about $100 as well. But you can just get a roll of double stick tape, and they'll run between $7 and $15, depending on what you get. But we'll show you how to use that. We'll use both of them and show you how to use both of them.
And there's a lot of double sticks out there to use. So if you're doing, just be careful you don't get the repositionable tapes or the lightweight double stick tapes, because they're not going to be as hard. You want to get one that has a pretty good tack to it. Okay.
And then we also use these are little felt dots that we put on the back of it to help it so when it gets on the wall, it doesn't move around so much. It kind of stays there even when people are walking by. And an X-Acto knife is handy to have as well. And we've made our own little cover for that. It's always nice to have a cover for your X-Acto knife so you don't stab yourself too much. So those are, if you have an awl, that's handy too.
Oh, those are so helpful. So helpful. And for all you people that think I don't have all these tools, go out to your garage, raid your husband's tools, because they usually have 3 screwdrivers, 4 awls, 16s of this. I mean, so you just kind of take what you need and call it a good day. They won't know. I don't know if you talked about a brush. A soft brush is really good to use. We do have our cloth when we're wiping down, but this really picks up a lot of the little specks, because you really want to get those specks out of those frames. So,
okay,
we're going to move this to the side. We're going to start some framing here. So today I am bringing you 2 of my favorite people in the whole world. We are grandparents, and we are so excited to be framing our grandsons. We have 2 little grandbabies, and they are both little boys, with one on its way in the next month. We are so excited to have 3 little boys to love on and to play hard with. And so today we're going to let you meet our sweet little boy, Landon. And it's hard to get a picture of him just standing there and smiling for you, because he is always on the go. And my favorite is he loves to call his grandma in the afternoons a lot, which makes my heart so happy. And then here is our little Xander, who's just about 8 months old now, and just full of life and ready to go. So we're framing our grandson's pictures so we can start a grandkids wall at our house, going up our staircase. So this is the start of our wall. We're so excited. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to let you take the lead.
Okay. Well, I got someone at the door right now trying to get in, so.
Okay, you better let someone in the door. This is what happens when we go live. You never know what's going to happen. Looks like we got some freight coming in today. And they came early. This is great. So I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with what I know how to do, and I'm going to start with the small ones. So this is, if you guys remember the tie-dye Facebook Live we did, this is me and Landon, or Landon and I, in our tie-dye. This is when I went to go visit him, and we played hard that day. Isn't that adorable? I love it. So we are going to get our piece of backing. When you use backing, please do not use cardboard. Please, oh please, oh please don't use cardboard or any cardboard-like product. It's full of acid and it can deteriorate your photos. If you see old photos that have little brown spots or deterioration on them, chances are it's because it was up against something that was going to kind of eat it up. That's kind of what its job is to do, is to eat it up. So we're using museum glass today, and I don't know if you can see this or not. here are all of our different glasses. And you can kind of see over here there's a lot of glare. And as you move to this side, there's not very much glare. And this right here, let me see. In the middle, right in the dead center, we really don't see any glares on museum glass, but it talks down here about the different reflections. So when you come in to look at glass, you can see what you want, but this is standard glass, I think, right here, and you can see the glare in it really bad. So we're using museum glass today. Non-ammonia cleaner. A little dab will do you. Okay, Mr. Landon, are you watching today? Are you watching Grandma? I hope you are. I guess when they sometimes watch, they tune in sometimes to the Facebook Lives. He hears me talking and he tries talking back to me, but I can't answer him because I am doing this and I don't hear his voice talking to me, so he doesn't understand my Grandma is not talking back to him. Okay, those of you who are grandparents, isn't it the best? It is simply the very, very best. And we're hoping for just a few grandkids in our lifetime. We have 9 children, if you didn't already know that. So we're hoping to get at least 3 at this point, right? So I'm just brushing anything that might have been left on there, making sure it's good and dry. Picture down, backing on it. You see what I'm doing here? I'll get back up here. I'm dropping it into the frame. I hold it in. I'm just going to check the front to make sure that there are no visible spots, and it looks fantastic. So here we're going to use our gun. So our gun has a few different options as far as glazier points or points that we'll use. These ones are flexible, so if I ever want to change this out, I can just flip these up and take the picture out and then push them back down. That's really a clever way of doing it. A lot of people will think, great, I am done here. This is fantastic. It looks great. Let's get a hanger on it and let's be done. We're not done at this point because, like Dan said, if you don't do something to seal, that's when bugs and dust and different things can come in. And just like I don't want you to use cardboard, I don't want you to leave this open because when those bugs and dust get in, it just eats away at what you have. I do not want my little Landon and I and our tie-dye shirts to get eaten away. So here we go. This is what happens. We come in early to start our day of work. Phones ring, freight's coming in, just when we think it's going to be nice and quiet. Get the X-Acto knife here. So what I'm doing now, I'm just going to lay on all 4 sides this tape. Now this is indented just a little bit. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I just cut the sides so I can press in here. Use my fingers and get that sealed, a beautiful seal right there. And we're going to do all 4 sides here. When we owned the frame shop, I did a lot of fitting, and this was kind of my job. For those of you who don't know, when we have like extra molding in our frame shop, our framers make custom ready-made frames, so in all the ready-made sizes that are available. And they're definitely one of a kind, but you are not going to find them anywhere else. And they're from all your standard sizes. Some are thicker and more fancy, and some are just really simple frames. And they're just a great choice to have, and that's why I chose today to use. Were the custom ready-mades. So here we are, side 3. So this is nice to have some brown framing tape. Like I said, a lot of people think that using artist tape, masking tapes, painter's tapes is okay. I just would not recommend it. Many of them do not have a long life of being sticky. Push it, make sure it's sealed. make sure it's all down so nothing can get in there. So I have totally sealed that up. So Landon and I, we are going to be just fine. I always use bumpers, felt dots, or some sort of a bumper back here. You can get these felt dots anywhere. You can buy them here, but you also buy them where you get your bottoms for like your chairs. They have the felt dots for those, so you can use those as well. Let's put them in my bottom corner, like that. And this helps the wall not to get scratched up, and it helps it to sit better so it's not tilting weird. So we are going to use these hangers. I do love these hangers because they go in really well. I typically, or what we typically do is measure a third down for about 2 3/4. I get my all. Nothing quite like light coming in at first thing in the morning.
But I'm back.
Here, I'll move over and you can start one.
Okay.
Why don't you start on the matted one?
Okay.
Because we can talk about this, and I'll finish this up, and we can both kind of talk about our process here. Did you get clippers for the wire?
I didn't, but I have some right
And we
here.
need a few more of these, because you brought one of these, didn't you?
I did.
I just think people should have one of these regardless. It just makes life really nice. So we have some different weights of wire. So if you have a really heavy piece, you want some heavier wire, that's just kind of how it is. And we do have kits of wire, so you don't have to be buying the entire spool. That seems ridiculous for people who are doing do-it-yourself. Or you can buy off the spool here. So we have that option as well. Thank you everybody for joining us this morning. Oh, my framer has typed in, says, do not spray on the glass and spray on the towel. Thank you, Alex, for correcting me. I always sprayed on the glass, but that must be a new thing with framing is don't spray on the glass, spray on the towel. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. If you guys have not met our framers yet, I'm just going to say this, and I do not know any better framers in the Valley. Their work is amazing, impeccable. Their vision for what to do, how to do it, and make it look right is unmatched anywhere that I can find. And if you can find someone else who you feel, let me know. I'd give them kudos. We have some great framers in the Valley, but I believe that we have the very best. Okay, I'm pulling this, and most people back in the old days, we would hang it, leaving it a little bit of tension. Now, we don't want to leave hardly any tension there. We're going almost straight across. Another piece of tooling you're going to want are wire cutters. Another easy way to frame these, which we could have done, are using alligator hooks. And those you just nail in. They're like little jaggedy, toothy edges that you can put up at the top and hang. I don't like those as much, to be honest with you, but those are used a lot.
Now, if we're doing something that has a mat on it, see, this has a little mat with a little landing, and we need to find some way to connect that up. Okay, this is where a lot of people put masking tape or scotch tape, and what ends up happening is over time it gets off, and then you have this on the wall. I don't know if you've ever seen a picture like that on the wall, but that's because it wasn't a good tape on it. The old way of doing it when I started framing 30 years ago was always to just take some framer's tape, still some good tape, but this is framer's tape. This is a linen tape, and this is a self-adhesive one. There's also one here that you add a little water to, and you can use it. This stuff we sell for 25 cents a foot, so if you just need a little bit of it, buy a foot of it, no problem. This stuff runs $30 a roll or something, so that's your choices.
To do a lot of framing, get these tools. They're going to last you a while, but you're going to have the right things all of the time. If you just do a little bit, come get them off the roll. That's what we know that not everybody's going to want a big roll of it.
Right. And the real easy way to do this is just to put a piece of tape on the top here. And you only want to do it on the top. You don't want to tape all the way around. It's only the top because you want to let it hang. Because when things go through heat and cold, they contract and expand. And so it needs a little bit of space in there. If it contracts a little bit smaller or less than what the mat does, you have a problem if you tape it all the way around.
Just a buckle.
It'll buckle. So if you've ever seen a picture, it has a buckle, the picture's buckled, mostly it just wasn't put in right. So here's your picture with a little bit of
Lesson
tape on
learned.
it.
Tape. Only at the top. You don't need a ton.
And then we,
I'll push this back here so they can see it
Yep.
a little bit better.
so then we take this and then we lay it on there to where we think it's just right. And we push up on top. One of the things is you always wash your hands just before you do this, even if you just washed them, because you get a little bit oily stuff on them and it will leave fingerprints.
And Alex is probably going to write something on here saying you can use gloves to do this if it's something really, really special. If there's heirloom, yeah, you'll want to use some gloves.
Yeah. And some of the
We
things,
don't usually.
some of the stuff, and this is why these brushes are good, there's a little bit of something here on this. Instead of going like this little brush will hopefully take it off. It didn't. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of something right there. And so, that didn't work. So, one thing I didn't put up here was an eraser. A gum eraser. Let me go grab that real quick.
Okay, really quick before you go, what side of the museum glass do you put towards the picture?
It usually tells you, but it's kind of a squiggly side.
All right. Something faces artwork, score opposite side. So this side faces art.
This side, yeah, this side will do it.
Okay.
So I'll tell you.
I'm going to spray the towel, Alex.
And so
I was
here
told.
is the gum eraser, because it was a little red mark of some sort. It's just a little flaw
Not board.
on the mat. And so the gum eraser didn't quite do it. So a little bit of
Are we
use the
making
knife.
you nervous, Alex?
And it's gone. So, not noticeable. There's all kinds of little traits. So, we've got our picture, and it's hinged. Now, there's another way of doing this instead of hanging it here. So this is just a quick and easy. It's the old-fashioned way. Framers don't like to do this anymore because it puts a piece of tape onto the artwork. There's a way to do this now that you can use what's called corners, framer corners, and it's little plastic things that go in the corner. I'm going to show you that real quick. I'm going to take this off and we're going to redo this a different way, okay, with hinging. And so we're going to take Landon off this mat.
Come on, London.
And put him off here to the side.
While he's doing that, I'm putting this little 4x6 together of my sweet little Xander. Isn't he adorable? And look at my little bald baby. Oh, the audio is not coming through. Let me get this up closer.
Okay.
Can you hear better now? We'll get this a little closer. Does that work better, Diane? Okay, I hope
Okay.
that works better. We're trying to talk loud and we do have the mic attached.
Okay, so when I do this, I'm going to use the same framer's tape. And I'm going to put some on this mat. There you go. I put it on the mat, here on the edge of the mat. Okay, so this is the tape. Here's the front. And I tape it to the back. The back that's here. You're seeing the front. So I've got it taped to there. I'm going to take it and tape it to this backing board. See, I've got a piece of backing board already, cut the right size. And I'm going to make a book out of this. Okay? So now I have this book that's a mat. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, gotta take this tape off of Landon's picture. So because I used the framer's tape, it came off, no problems, didn't rip it up. So I've got this picture of Landon, and now I'm going to put it in the book. So here's a book, and Landon is going to go in the book, just like this. And I'm going to get him right where I want him to be. That's pretty close already. If I'm going to get it right where I want it to be.
Do you need one of these?
I do. And there should be enough room.
I hope this is helpful for you guys, because I know Christmas is coming up and a lot of people love to get pictures or paintings or different things to frame. And framing can be costly, especially if quite a bit to do.
So he's right where he's supposed to be at. And to keep him there, I'm going to put a little weight on him. This is a little weight of something. Put something down there.
I would get a sock with rice in it, or a sock, just something like that.
Something soft that has enough weight to hold him there.
But doesn't pull up into lint.
And now I have these are called mounting corners. And they come on a sheet. They're in here. You can't hardly see them here, but in the picture. But this is what they look like. And there's a little bit of it's like the old time pictures. When you used to put pictures in albums in the old time, they had corners to use. It's the same thing. It's sticky on the back side, and it has a little lip on it. So I'm going to put these mounting corners on the picture. And so it will hold it still.
This is a really great technique that Dan is using if you have documents, old photos, anything that you want to preserve as well. So you don't really want anything touching that photo, so it's easy to come up. Nothing other than just those corners, but nothing sticky is touching that photo. So it makes it easy to keep it preserved. And if I was using it for like an old photo or old document, I know we've done some of my grandfather's diplomas. We do it this way just to help keep them preserved. But we also use all of our rag material. So depending on what you're doing is what you're going to decide the materials you're going to use. But we do have the acid-free, and we do have rag and museum quality things to use. And if you're just looking for a piece of glass and it's like a 27.5 by 32 3/4, we can cut that glass for you of any types of glass that we do have here for framing. So, and then we also have all of the supplies that you need for it that you can take home and do it yourself. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so I put the corners on. I take that, and voila, the picture is in there, and it's not going to go
Landon,
anywhere.
you're so cute.
Okay. Now sometimes, if you don't have these little plastic corners, and these things are acid-free as well. Okay, so they aren't going to harm the picture at all. You can use paper and fold paper and make these little corners and just tape them on. So.
And you know what? How about, I think in a few months we're going to be doing a preservation framing thing where we can show that technique to you then also. But those are some really good things we'll be showing you guys at a later date when we talk framing, is preservation framing.
Okay, so we got Landon all like this.
Oh,
okay.
So cute.
Now we're going to put that kind of off to the side because we're going to prepare the glass, and we don't want the picture to get any glass cleaner on it.
And I was just chastised by Alex, who's watching this morning.
Thank you, Alex Fisher.
Oh my gosh, he is here to tell us what we're doing. He said to
I can't believe what goes on when I leave to go do other stuff, and she just goes, totally off and goes old school on this.
He said spray the cloth. You don't spray the glass.
Correct.
I didn't know that. That's new, because when we did our framing shop, we sprayed the glass.
Yep.
So when did this come about? Why wasn't I told?
I don't know, sometime the last 30 years, dear. Sometimes I still spray the glass, but it's better to spray the cloth. And it's funny that that happened, because I was going to show you that this morning, and I was going to teach Ann something too, I suppose.
Always able to learn. No, actually, truth be told, when we started framing, there was not much out about archival or acid-free or rag. And so when we did framing back in the days, 33 years ago, wow, time has flown. We used cardboard, truth be told.
Yeah, that was what most everyone used. And if you had something really important, they put a piece of acid-free mat board between the cardboard and the stuff. Just a rag one.
Put a barrier, yeah.
They made a barrier papers, and so we do that sometimes. But yeah, cardboard is what we use, and then we realized how acidic it was and what it did not so good to the pictures. So anyway, I cleaned the glass, and now I'm going to put the picture on the glass.
Check burning.
And make it one little package, and I'm going to look at it and see, do I have anything in there that I need to work on and do with it. And it looks pretty good. There's a couple little things that I think it looks good.
I don't see a couple little things, so that's good.
Yeah, they may be covered on the edge. Okay, so then I'm going to put it in the frame.
While he's putting it in the frame, I'm going to show you something with our glass. Here are two fantastic glasses that we carry. And right here we have Conservation Clear. It's the clarity on that is beautiful, but you can see the reflection. Over here is museum glass, and you can't hardly even tell that there is glass there. You can actually feel like you can reach in and take that item out. Museum glass does cost a lot, but we are firm believers, us, because it gives you a great view. It really preserves what's in there. Like there's other great glasses out there, but we're using museum glass on our pieces because we love it. We're converted to it. So here's my two little grandbaby pictures. Aren't they adorable?
Okay, so we've got it in there. Just holding down, and we're going to.
Right here.
You want me to use that, or you want me to show them how to use this?
Glazier points. That's right. We're going to use the glazier points.
If you're not going to spend $100, $70 to $120 on one of these guys, you buy these for $2.35, and they work the same way, except it's all manual. Okay, so you have these little points, and they look like that, and they're going to, how I have it there is how it's going to go in. This is going to go into the wood, and I'm going to use a screwdriver to push right there on this side. Push those two little nubs and push it in. So I set it here on the picture. And we use a screwdriver, as wide as the screwdriver you can get, and push it in. Now sometimes if it's a hard frame, you got to do some different things to it. And actually I'm going to show you this on the next one we do, because this one is so thin it makes it a little bit tough, but you can still do it. But this is where the point gun comes in real good, because you can squish down to the foam board and get the points in.
Squiggly line goes up to the.
Okay, so there's the points in it. We take a look again, make sure if we need to take it apart, we take it apart now. But it still looks just fine. So it looks good. There's no dust that got in it. And then we take this tape. Did you already show them this tape?
I showed him the tape.
Cool deal. Okay. Take this tape and we put it on there. Use our knife. This helps keep all those bugs out of it. And so you can't
We don't want bugs in with our grandbabies.
You don't want, that's right.
We want to see the bugs on our walks, but not in our pictures.
30 years ago, I used to do this. Most people didn't do this 30 years ago. They didn't, this is something that we kind of came up with some good tape to keep the bugs out. And you could be done with it just like this. And that's what she did with this one.
And I told him that.
So,
he's going to
and
show
that
something
gives you
even
everything.
better.
But, and especially here in the art store, we want it to look good when people come to pick it up. And they want it to look, oh, it looks like this. They don't think it really looks finished. It really is. It does. Everything that you need to do is there. The other thing they call the dust cover which really doesn't do anything as soon as it's broken, and it breaks pretty easily. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use some double stick tape, and I'm going to show you how to use it off a roll, so you don't have to have one of these machines to do it. And so in this, we're going to put this down and leave about an 1/8 inch of space between the on the outside of the frame. And so we are going to just rip that off, and that now has double stick tape there. I'm just going to go around the edge and put, this is how you put double stick tape down without an applicator. It works out really well, and it's not all messy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I need it. I haven't heard those for a while, but at least for my
So
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
we got the tape on. And I always leave a little bit of this on so it covers up any double stick tape to keep the double stick tape together. And then we're going to use some paper because we're going to clean this up and make it look pretty. We use black paper. You can use the brown packaging paper. That gets used an awful lot as well. But we just have some black. And it's just craft paper. And so I'll just put this on here, and I'll try to do it kind of tight. Make it look nice. So we have this paper on here. And then I'm going to do this so I can see where my edges are. And then I'm going to take my knife. There's a little tool for this too. It looks kind of like this guy. That sets up to cut this. See, this gives you a knife and it has an edge, and so when you're doing it,
But if they didn't have that
We'll cut
nice
it.
sweet tool, they could use an exacto and a straight edge or just freehand
you
it.
could use an X-Acto straight edge, or
I
what I
would-
do is I use my finger right next to it and do this. This is the
Oh, that is so cool.
I make my own little tool,
With your finger.
my finger.
Oh, that is so cool.
And voila, it's all done. It looks the same all the way around. Okay, so we got Landon. This is right side up. I gotta make sure it's right side up so I know how to do the back. Occasionally you get done with your hanger stuff and you hang it on the wall and it looks like this because you didn't make sure it was right side up when you were doing it. So, take a look, right side up still, looking, everything's good, no more dust, nothing's got into it. So I come here and we measure down 1/3 of the distance, about, and it's just really just about, see this is 11.5 inches. And I can say, okay, 12 is 4 inches is 1/3, so 4 is good enough. That's close enough. So go 4 inches,
And you checked to make sure that was the bottom.
4 inches,
Or that was the top.
yep, that we just talked about.
Sorry.
See, look, you hear her, she's checking on me,
Actually,
make
I
sure I
have
make sure
an
it's
issue
spaced up.
here.
I think
I
we've
have-
done that a couple times.
Be nice. Be really nice, please. So I have this frame, and it looks like it was made a little bit small because I tried cheap pieces of 8x10 glass, and it doesn't quite fit. So we're gonna have to make some adjustments to that.
Yep, I can show you how to do that too.
He's
if we
going
have
to.
time.
Let me screw these in, and you show him how to do that.
Okay.
I can do this part. I'm a professional.
Yes. I've cleaned the glass, so she's okay now. You can do the rest.
Do you guys see
Okay,
how it
you want to
is?
move this over just a little bit?
Yes.
We'll trade. Okay. Sometimes you get something like this,
Oh no, panic.
and the frame
Quit.
is just a little bit off.
The picture fits. Both glasses.
That
This
says
is-
8 inches, but it is just right there. I mean, this one says, they both say 8 inches,
This
but
is my museum glass. This is a different glass.
it is so close that it's just not. I mean, they're 30 seconds off. The top isn't, it's just the bottom. So this bottom's a little bit close. What I'm going to do with this, actually, is I'm going to take this X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to carve this a little bit. Frames are always supposed to be built an 1/8 inch too big. Between a 1/16 and an 1/8, but generally an 1/8 inch bigger than what they are. So if you have a 16 by 20 frame, the frame should actually be 16 and an 1/8 by 20 and an 1/8. And the reason you do that
There's
is
a little bit of wiggle room.
you have to have that little bit of wiggle room, and there's two reasons for that. One is all measuring instruments are not the same, and so they can be off by, because of atmosphere and all kinds of
Who
different
knows?
reasons, they could be off by a 1/16 of an inch or 32nd. So you're trying to get something exactly 8 inches into something that's exactly 8 inches, it's going to be tight and not good. The other reason is because of expansion and contraction. The wood, the frame, the glass, the mat, the picture, everything moves a little bit. It will, with heat, it will get bigger, and with cold, it will get smaller. So, but it does it at different rates. So you don't want, I had people sometimes ask me, "Oh, I want really tight in there." I says, "No, you really
Trust me, you
don't.
don't.
You want a little bit of, you need a little bit of
yeah.
space, because you can have problems."
Okay, we're going to wrap this up in the next few minutes, but I want to show you guys something. A lot of people will just loop through one time and tie it off. We typically will loop through twice just to give it some security, just in case it comes loose, who knows what. So just so you know, when you're doing the wire, to loop through twice before you wrap it around the wire. And when you wrap, you have to wrap fairly tight around the wire.
Voila, the glass now fits. Didn't take too long, just a little bit of adjustment. Careful with your knife that you don't cut yourself, but you just get it out of the way. So
Tips, don't we love those? Okay, so just a reminder, as we're getting ready to sign off here, so excited to have my baby pictures.
yes, you get them.
I'm so excited. That we do have a $20 gift certificate to the first person who can name the business, our frame shop that we moved down here. We first were down here 33 years ago. If you can name it, it's a $20 gift certificate. And then so if I can find pictures, I'd post pictures of it too, once it's kind of guessed or once people have given up on that. But framing has been part of who we are for so many years. It's part of Central Art Supply. We love it, and we have the best framers in the valley. And don't be caught by price. Many people are going to tell you they're going to have their 60 or 50% off at their places. There's no regulation on what is 60% off of what. They set the prices high, so they make it sound like you're getting a great deal. When actually come here, you're going to get that great deal here. Plus, you're going to know the people that are working on it. You're going to know the supplies, and you're helping a small business. We love what we do here, and we love the community we get to serve. Any last thoughts?
Well, just on that thing, we have people all the time coming in and says, "Well, they gave us 60% off and it was this price." And says, "Well, what's your price?" And we do it, and well, about 5% less than what they are. And says, "And that's not a discount?" Says, "No, that's just our regular pricing." See, the big box stores, they double their price. They figure out what they want to make it, and then they double it, and they tell you get 50% off, which is illegal, but no one's really stopped them. So anyway, just be careful when you see that. If you see 50% off all the time in the store,
That's a red flag.
you kind of know, that's just a regular price.
That's a red flag. 50% off of what? There's no
framing.
it's that industry MSRP that tells us what it has to be. So that's just something to remember. Here we're going to give you great service. We're going to give you great framing. We know what we're doing here, and Alex and John would be happy to take care of you. Alex, I hope we haven't made you too nervous this morning. But do-it-yourself framing is possible. We have all of the tools, all of these hangers, hooks, screws, felt things, the tapes, everything you're going to need, minus maybe this tool to do framing. So if you need a little bit, you're just going to get maybe a couple little hangers. We have that here for you. So don't be intimidated by the process. And don't forget, we have these gorgeous frames that are one of a kind, custom ready-made frames that are just so fun to look at. And they're usually on a great sale. I think that they're half off right now of the price that's marked. So come in and do that.
These are kind of our COVID frames. When we closed down for 2 months, the framers need to still have work to do, so we built frames out of scrap. And so,
Hundreds of them now.
and we have lots of frames.
We do.
And that's why the 50% is COVID special.
There you go. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Sorry it went so long this morning, but hopefully you got something from it. Always appreciate your time watching these videos, and hopefully you get something and gain something. I know we surely do. It keeps us on our toes and helps us know what we're doing. Until next week, we will see you later. Have a good day.
Bye.